Okay, welcome to today's event. I'm really excited because today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics in the world. All right. And it's so exciting for me to be able to come here and share this information with you guys. First of all, for those of you who don't know me, because I see a lot of familiar faces, but maybe some of you are new, my name is Zulbay Barrios, and I'm the co-founder of the Mind Wisdom Project. I started this project with my dad. His name was Carlos Barrios, and he was one of the most renowned Mayan elders here in Guatemala, and also the author of the Book of Destiny. And we started this project together 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now. So it's really nice to meet you guys, and welcome to today's session. So, all right, today what we're going to be talking about is ancient Mayan secrets to hacking your brain and like just the science behind the brain in the Maya tradition, which is such a profound science. For me personally, the two teachers who taught me the most in regards to this topic were my dad, as well as you guys know him, Tata Alberto, because that's his area of specialty is the how do you master your own brain. So I'm gonna start with a story, okay? And I think it's such a profound, beautiful story that I heard my whole life from the time in which I was a kid from my dad. And I think some of you guys have already heard me share this story with you before, but it's so beautiful. So I'm gonna share it again. So Mm, when my dad was starting his path, studying to be an arquij, which arquij means Mayan spiritual leader, okay? One day he asked his teacher a question, and the question was, I'm so impressed at like the level of control that you have over your own mind, over your own brain. And my dad said to the teacher, I see that it's not just you, like a lot of the people that I meet in these communities, they have that too. And back then, because this was like more than 50 years ago, like these communities were still very untouched by modernity. Like, it was all before like smartphones and like the whole technology thing and everything. And so because of that, the Maya tradition was even more alive than it is today. And so the teacher, like my dad said, like, I wonder, like, what's the difference between you guys and like the people of the Western world, like why does it seem like people in the modern day, like Western world, have such a difficult time controlling their own minds, like controlling their own brains? And the teacher said, well, Carlos, look, the answer to that is easy. The answer is here in these communities as we grow up, since the time of childhood, they teach us how to utilize our own minds, how to utilize the power of our own brains. In the modern Western world, he said, no one ever sat you down. Not your parents, he said, not your teachers, not at university, not at school. Nowhere did anyone ever sit you down and teach you the secrets to how to utilize the power of your own brain and your own mind. So how would you know? How would you know? He said. And he said, imagine it like this. When you imagine the brain, pretend like it's like a brain, it's like a horse carriage. Okay. He said, imagine your brain is a horse carriage. He said, in our communities from the time of childhood, our parents would sit us down in the horse carriage and they would teach us how to handle horses and they would teach us how to drive the horse carriage. And if you think about it, he said, the horse carriage is such a big tool because all you have to do is you have to sit on it and you have to just decide where it is that you want to go. You're like, okay, I'm going in that direction. That's my destination. And all you have to do is sit and manage your horses, control your horses, ask them to bring you there. And the horses and the carriage will bring you there. All you have to do is direct the carriage, he said. And that's the brain, he said, is the most powerful tool that you have. It, you, if you know how to control it, you just decide where it is that you want to go. Tell the brain like what's the direction you want to take. And then that's it. You just use it. And with all of its power, the brain will take you exactly to where you want to go. But in the Western world, he said, no one ever taught people how to drive the horse carriage. And so what happens is they sit on the carriage and they try to get the horses to move, but they don't know how to do that because no one ever taught them to do that. And then sometimes he says what happens is one of their horses escapes, and the horse starts running away. They have to boom, jump off the carriage and start running as fast as they can and try to catch the horse and then, bring the horse back. Just bring the horse back. Fight the horse. 'Cause it's like you have not taught your horses how to behave yet. So like fight the horse to come back, he said. And then finally they somehow managed to bring the horse back to the carriage. What for? Just to discover that another one of their horses has already run away. And so again, run behind the second horse, try to catch it and bring it back, bring it back. And same process, like just come back finally after being exhausted from fighting horses to discover they already lost control over two more of their horses. And so that's their day. They're chasing horses, and not sitting in the carriage. He said, everything in the Maya tradition can be either your weakness or your strength. It can be a burden or a tool, the exact same things, depending on how you use them. The problem is if you don't know how to use the brain, if you don't know how to manage the carriage, you're just going to be suffering a lot from it because you have to be chasing horses all day and that's exhausting and it's intense, right? And I feel like how many of us have that problem, especially in the modern day world, right? That we have no control over our own minds, that we have no control over our own brains. When in the Maya tradition, we are taught that the brain is the biggest tool that is available to us that we have in order to achieve anything that we want. The Maya were obsessed, okay, obsessed since ancient times with the how can you become the creator of your personal reality? Like, how do you master your own brain? Honestly, guys, like half of the exercises that they were doing, like they figured out, for example, neuroplasticity thousands of years before modern science did. Honestly, modern science didn't even accept neuroplasticity as a thing until like the 70s, They were like, yeah, that's not possible, So it's like for us, this is all very new. But in the ancient Mayan world, for thousands of years, they've already been working with these kinds of practices and techniques in order to like, how do you manage your own brain? And one great example of that is Tata Alberto, okay? That man, he's the master on the topic. My dad also was like a master on the topic, but Tata Alberto, he's the master, okay? I'll tell you why he's the master. Tata Alberto, he's one of the teachers here at the Mind Wisdom Project. He's an Arquij, so a Maya spiritual leader who's been working as a Maya spiritual leader for the last few decades. And the way he started his path is, well, he first of all, he had a really difficult life. He endured a lot of pain, like in his life, emotional pain, psychological pain during his childhood. Um, his parents were really abusive towards him, especially like not only physically, but psychologically too. He, in ways, the stories are like they're wow. Okay. So like when I see him be so happy, I'm like, okay, if you can do it, like honestly, anyone can do it because his life was truly tragedy after tragedy. And in Guatemala, it's common for a lot of people to grow up in poverty. And so he grew up in poverty. And the way his path started was he was working as a truck driver, and they would work for this cotton. How do you pronounce the word cotton? Cotton. I don't know. You know what I mean, right? Cotton farms, right? That he was one day, like in his job, he was just loading cotton or however you pronounce that onto like the back of the truck, and he was then like standing on top of this truck, and all of a sudden another huge massive truck loses control and like runs into the truck where Tata Alberto was standing, and he flew I don't know how many meters. Okay, he was in a coma for a while. He woke up in the hospital. and to very bad news. And the news where like they told him now you're paraplegic and you're never going to be able to walk again. And like yeah, like also right now like half of you is broken, just so like you're it's going to be a long process of healing. So he spent more than half a year in that hospital and like knowing that he's never going to be able to walk again and all of that. And so in the public hospitals here in Guatemala, it's like you don't get a private room. Obviously, it's like you share the room oftentimes with a lot of other people. And in his room was this other patient who everyone was really annoyed by that patient. Why? Because that one dude, like he did not let anyone sleep. The guy was in a lot of pain. And so he would spend all night complaining very loudly from the pain that he was in. He was like, all night, he was like, ow, 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 ow. And everyone was like, oh my goodness, be silent. We're trying to sleep. So every night, this guy was calling the nurse and he was like, please, please, I'm in so much pain. Give me medicine for the pain. And every night, the nurse would tell the guy, I'm so sorry, but the doctor has not approved anything. I can't give you anything unless the doctor approves it. And so she was like, I'm sorry, like, there's nothing we can do. Anyways, so many days go by. All of the patients are complaining because no one's getting enough sleep because of the guy who's screaming from pain all night, right? And one day the nurse comes and she's like, she walks into the room. The guy is again like, ow, 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 help me. I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. And the nurse is like, you know what? Actually, I have really good news for you. She's like, I talked to the doctor and he approved that I give you a painkiller. And she was like, not just any painkiller, by the way, you're in luck. It's one of those really strong painkillers. Like it'll put you straight to sleep. You're going to feel no pain anymore. You're going to be fine. And the guy's like, finally. She's like, yeah, turn around so I can inject you. She's like, and injects him. And 5, 10 minutes in, the guy's like, oh, finally, sweet relief. Oh my gosh, I was in so much pain. Thank you so much. And he immediately just went to sleep. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, finally, thank God. Like, finally, we can all sleep. But because Alberto had been there for so many months, he had become friends with all the nurses at this point, because he's really, really charming and really friendly, So the nurse goes to Alberto and she's like, do you want to know a little secret? And Alberto's like, what? And she's like, I gave him nothing. And Alberto's like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, I just injected saline solution. She was like, I was just so tired of him like complaining every day and like bothering all of my patients. She was like, I just had to do something, but the doctor never approved anything else for him. So I just gave him saline solution. And Alberto was like, what do you mean? He's like, but the guy actually stopped feeling pain and he was in so much pain. How is that possible that you actually gave him no medicine? And she's like, yeah, it's placebo effect. Have you not heard of that? And he's like, no, what is that? So she explains that. And he's like, so you're telling me right now that this man who's actually legitimately ill, who's actually legitimately in this much pain, like excruciating pain, 5 minutes into believing, okay, that he had taken something that would take his pain actually physically went away and he was able to sleep. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, so his brain did that? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, wait, so if his brain did that, can my brain do that for me too? Like, can I convince myself that I'm gonna walk again? Like, can I do that? And she's like, no, 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 not like it doesn't work like that. And he's like, but maybe, like if I believe it, like if I really believe it. So the man, without, I don't know, he has such a powerful mind, this guy. The man spends the next few months like every minute of the day, like convincing himself, like just in the hospital bed, convincing himself that that he's healthy and that he's healing and that like this whole thing, is a misunderstanding, that the doctors are confused and actually there is a chance he's gonna walk again. Anyways, it gets to the level where the hospital staff gets worried about his psychological state of being and that he's in denial. So they like refer him to the like area of the hospital that has like psychiatrists and psychologists and whatever. They're like, yeah, we're gonna send you to therapy because you're obviously in denial. And he's like so pissed off at the doctors. He's like, no, I'm telling you, I'm gonna walk again. They're like, no, Alberto, you're in denial. This is impossible, okay? And he's like, you know what? I am not gonna walk again as long as I have you guys around me all telling me all day that I'm never gonna walk again. So I want to check out of the hospital. Like I want to go home and recover there because like you guys are interrupting my process. Anyways, he goes home. And he said one of his proudest moments in life was like 6 months later. He walked into the hospital just to prove himself. He said the doctor almost fainted when he saw him walking into the hospital. And this is true. I've seen the medical records and everything. He's crazy like that, okay? Um, so he had other health issues in the future, including a stroke, by the way, where he lost some mobility, but he was able to recover it. All right. This man is crazy. Okay. He's crazy. And as an arquij, what he has done is he has dedicated himself especially to teaching people how to heal themselves through the power of their own minds and their own brains. So it's like every time I go to a session with Tata Alberto, whether it's emotional healing or physical healing, and he's healed so many of his patients physically just by teaching them how to tap into the power of their own brains. And Alberto thinks and believes strongly that more than 90% of illnesses, are actually just in the mind. Like he said, some things, yeah, okay, some things is deeper than that. But the majority of problems that we have, he's like, there's no need for anything crazy. Like your biggest doctor is already here, he says. You already have access to it. You just need to learn how to tap into that. And so he tells us this like set of stories. Okay. And I want you to try this out with someone today because you're going to be in shock. All right. You're going to be in shock. Okay. Um, about like your own brain and how it works, but also how it's affected by everything around you. And so how to protect yourself from all of that as well. Um, so he does this exercise with us always where he's like, Sulva, remember how important your beliefs are, right? And I'm like, yeah. And so he goes, okay, put your fingers like this. And so I can't show it to you right now because I don't have anyone else with me, but he's like, be as strong as you can. And I'm gonna try to open your fingers, okay? And like don't let me just like open up your fingers, right? And I'm like, okay. And he said, okay, now say, I am strong. He makes you say, I am strong. You just say, I am strong. That's it. And then he tries to open your fingers with all of his strength, and it's really hard. Then he says, okay, now say, I am weak. You say, I am weak. He just goes, poop, with almost no strength, and you're weak. Like you're literally weak. Okay, it gets even crazier. Try this one with someone today. I always try it with my friends. They're always like, what? What are you doing? Like, that's crazy. I was doing it with my friend Mimi the other day. I was like, do you want to see something crazy? And she's like, yeah. So we did the I am strong where she said it and I am weak where she said it. And we did a second round of it where I told her, now don't do anything. I'll do it for you. And in my own mind, I thought towards Mimi. I was like, Mimi's weak, but silently. And then she was weak. And then I thought Mimi is strong. And then Mimi was strong. And then she was like, well, that was a coincidence. Let's do it again. And every time we did it like 20 times. And every time I thought towards her, you're weak, she was weak. And every time I taught towards her that she was strong, she was strong. Try it with someone if you don't believe me. It's really crazy. It like also proves like how much the environment around you affects you. And so there's even this ancient mind tricks to how to make yourself strong so that the external things don't affect you that much and other people's like energy towards you can't affect you that much. But anyways, just to like do a little fun thing and prove it to you because I know most of you guys are alone, so you don't have a second person. Let's do another type of exercise. So like stand up if you want to try it out, okay? Just stand up. All right, I'll give you guys a minute. I'm not gonna stand up because otherwise you're not gonna be able to see me. But you guys stand up. Okay, now point your finger in front of you. Yeah, okay. Now what we're gonna do is all of you are gonna try to go without moving your feet or something, just with your back as far, try to point your finger as far back as you can, like this, okay? All right, and take a look at where it is that you're pointing in your mind. Register where it is, like as far back as you could, like as far back as your back lets you go. Like register where it is that you're pointing. Yeah. All right. Now remember what spot you're pointing at. Now come back. Okay. Now close your eyes for a second. Now breathe. Now visualize the point where you were pointing at with your finger. Okay. Visualize that spot that you were pointing at. And now tell your mind, now imagine yourself, visualize yourself being able to go further than that next time that you do it. Like tell your mind, okay, like visualize your finger being able to point even further than that next time. Okay, now open your eyes. Okay, now let's go again. Let's try that again. Same thing, right? So weird. Okay. Did you guys all see how the second time you were able to point way further, like not even a little further, but like way further? Like try it as many times as you want today, okay? Like you're actually going to the limit of your back, but you just tell yourself and you visualize yourself being able to like go even further. And it's not even hard. It's actually easy. Like it doesn't even hurt. It's not like you're forcing it or something. It's like, and it's not a little further, it's like way further, and you already thought you reached your limit, but your limit was much more. All you had to do was tell your brain that your limit is actually not that. My limit is beyond this, right? And so it's such silly little exercises, right? But and then later today, if you have a friend or family or someone try the strength exercises, they're crazy. Just like that's the power of our own brains. But here's the thing, how many of us, okay, have probably already heard about like this whole concept that what you believe matters, right? Like what you believe about your own reality matters. Like probably the majority of you have heard about this, right? And so I know that like there's a lot of exercises and practices and people do like affirmations and whatnot, right? To like be and those are really important, okay? Like people say like I am healthy and I am strong and I am this and I am so and so, right? And in the Maya tradition, for thousands of years, we had a very similar concept to that. But the concept was much deeper, okay? Because the idea is that, as you guys know, like how many of us, there's a reality that we want to create, right? Like that's what my dad said. We just have all these tricks and they're so simple. That's the weird part. They're so simple on how to become the creator of your personal reality. And it's about truly believing, right, in what it is that you want to create. But here's the problem. That's really difficult to achieve, as you guys know. If it was easy, all of us would just like already be able to say like 10 different affirmations per day, and we would all be healthy and rich and fit and everything that, we're telling ourselves that we want to be able to achieve, right? Um, it takes it takes something, but the cool thing about Mayan wisdom is that they figured out thousands of years ago already how to get yourself not just to say it, because it doesn't matter if you say, I can say, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm all those things, right? That affirmations say. But it's not unless you truly believe it, like believe it with every single particle in your being that, like then it actually manifests into real life. So that's what we did this event for, to announce something that we're going to be doing, and is teaching this weird, crazy secret that my dad luckily taught me and my family, because it's an ancient practice that he learned from his teacher. And it is life changing in this sense, right? So on the 5th of October, we're going to start, and it's called the 20-day Breaking Reality Challenge. Okay. It's how to break your own reality, how to break your own mind. And what we're going to do is we're going to meet every day for 45 days. For 45 days, no. Every day for 20 days for 45 minutes every day. Not for 45 days, forget that. Every day for 20 days for 45 minutes every day. And out of the 45 minutes, 25 are just going to be like knowledge. And I'm going to teach you like just verbally, like stories as I shared with you guys today, like of like the ancient Mayan secrets to how to live your life and how to hack your brain and how to master your brain. And then the other 20 minutes of the session, we're gonna do for every day for 20 days an ancient Maya exercise that is gonna break your brain, okay? It's going to break your brain. It's really crazy. The reason we're doing it live instead of me just explaining you how to do it, for 20 days, is because um, it's it would be very irresponsible for me to just kind of give you the instructions and send you off and you figure out how to do it by yourself because this exercise is something and if you decide to sign up, I want you to come with that in mind, okay? That you have to be very responsible with this exercise because it is too powerful. I'm not joking. It's too powerful. All right. You cannot exceed 20 minutes per day and you cannot exceed 20 days. And it's not something that you can be doing often or all the time. It's a very, very once in a while, once every almost never kind of thing because it does do something to your actual brain. All right. And so, for example, my dad used to teach this one to certain patients when he thought it would help his patients to heal themselves. And there was this one time he taught it to this woman in Colombia. Okay, and I'll never forget this story because she didn't follow the instructions. Instead of doing it 20 minutes per day, she was like getting too excited about what she was achieving. So she started doing it 2 hours per day because she thought, oh, if I do it more, I'll become even more powerful and whatever, you know. And so she started doing it for like 2, 3 hours a day for like more than 20 days. And one day she called my dad and she was literally tripping. I'm not joking. She couldn't even walk anymore. Like it really does something to your brain. Like the hallway in her house would become super long and then super short and then super long and the walls were wobbling. All right. So don't worry, that's not going to happen to you. She exceeded, but you do have to follow the instructions. So that's the first disclaimer. Okay. Like just if you do decide to join, I expect you guys to follow the instructions properly because I'm not going to fly to you and I'm not going to bring you back. Okay. So don't do that. All right. So basically, the exercise consists of something really cool. It's like you take two candles, all right? And we teach you a little brain trick that you have to do in order to create, like you're staring at the two candles, okay? But you do like a little funny thing with your eyes and you focus in a very specific way in which in which you basically create a third candle, a candle that does not exist in reality, because physically you actually only have two candles. So for 20 minutes, you focus and you create this third candle that does not exist. And the first day, it's really hard. Most people manage to create it, but it's like you can hold it for a second or two and then it goes away. Then you can hold it again for like 5 seconds and then it goes away. And like it's like really hard. On the second day, same thing happens. Like you can hold it a little bit longer, but then it goes away. Okay, but by day 10, then by day 15, then by then day 20, etc. Um, you know, you're able to hold the candle so well, okay? Like the third candle, some people go crazy, all right, and they even are able to do four, but we'll see if some people in the group are actually able to do four, but like you're able to hold the third candle so well that you literally don't know anymore at that point which two candles are actually real and which one is the third, the fake candle that you created with your mind, right? Not only are you able to visually see it, like physically it's there, you're able to hold it for 20 minutes straight. And in that act of being able to train your brain, like you're creating neural paths for like new neural paths for like 20 days, where you're literally teaching your brain how to not only create it, but to hold it for 20 minutes straight. It takes practice. That's why it takes 20 days. Is like you're training a muscle of your brain, let's say, like you're training a new part of yourself. It is not about learning how to hold candles that don't exist into reality, obviously. That's just the tool that we use in that moment. And the fire also plays a role. There's like, I'm gonna explain it during the actual challenge, but there's like an entire reason why this works so well for the brain. You're able to actually translate that into the rest of your life. You get really good at doing that thing that it is that we all want to do. Because we all want to truly believe, as I said, like, okay, these are my goals, these are my projects, these are the things that I want to achieve in life. But just like the candles, it's like we can visualize them, but it's really hard for us to hold them, right? And to actually believe them. But what this exercise does is it teaches you how to translate this and not use it only for candles, but to use it in every area of your life. So whatever it is that you want to manifest, whatever it is that you want to create in your own reality, you're able to see it and believe it. Like, because you make it a part of your reality, just like the third candle. It's so real by the end of the 20 days. Like for you, that candle actually exists, right? And so it then you're able to do the same thing in your life. Like the things that you want, you see them so real, but like so real for you, they actually exist. And not only can you see them that real that they exist, you're able to actually hold them, just like the candles. It might seem like a really simple hack and everything, but every time my dad gave this exercise to people, they always came back to him with the craziest stories of how this had an impact in their lives and what they were able to achieve once they trained this part of their brain. And just like this exercise, there's many different exercises in the Maya tradition that work on the brain, and they are so simple, but they are so powerful, you just wouldn't even believe it. And so that's what we're going to be doing for 20 days. And not just the candle exercise, also wisdom. This challenge also includes the recordings because we know that for 20 days, like some of you might not just have every day 20 days of time to come live. Of course, if you can come live, that's awesome. But if you ever miss a day or two or something, like you can come back later that day and just watch the recording. And also this time is going to be my favorite time for the fact that it includes like this private community space. So everyone who's going to join is going to have access to like a private community. And it's usually really cool in general because the community, as you guys know, for those of you who are in our different programs, like that the community is always so supportive and awesome. But this time I'm especially excited about the community because I can't wait to hear the stories of like what you guys are going to be able to achieve like after the 20 days and all of that. So I'm really excited for that part. And yes, so that's it. Basically, it's going to start on October 5. All right. And Anna just posted the link to be able to sign up. Don't worry, we're also going to send it to you via email. So it's going to start the 5th of October, which is this upcoming Sunday. And I was really excited to do this exercise with you guys. It took me years to decide to finally share it. I know a lot of you guys were curious about it because I kind of had mentioned it a few times. And you have no idea how many people were like, please share it, So I had to find the very responsible way to share it because of how powerful it is. And now we have found that way, which is basically just doing it together. That being said, because of how strong it is and all of that, I don't think we're going to do it more than once. Okay. We just wanted to give this to our community because you guys were asking for it so much. But I think this is going to be the only time we do it, probably. Like, you never know, but I'm pretty sure at this point that we're only going to do this one time. So it's kind of like the only chance to join as well. If you want to take advantage of the opportunity, go ahead. And basically, my promise to you is, yeah, it's gonna change your lives, okay? Like I'm not joking. Also, I'm super excited because I haven't done this in years, all right? Last time I did it, my dad was alive. It was many, many years ago. So I'm super excited that I'm gonna do it too because I already know that it's gonna have a massive effect on my life. So I'm there with you guys, and I can't wait. And I can't wait to also share with you what it does for me as well. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget to go and try these little exercises I gave you today. They're going to be so much fun. You're going to be very impressed. And I'll see you guys on October 5th. And thank you guys. All right. See you soon. Bye bye. Nice to see you. Bye.